Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. Thanks for listening. As always, we would be grateful for any ratings or reviews you would be so kind to leave us on your podcast app of choice, be that Apple Podcast or Spotify or whatever. You can find us on social media at Billowing Hilltop on Twitter, or you can find us on Facebook, or of course, as always, you can email us at hello@billowinghilltop.com. I have no other news or information. I know what you're saying. You're saying, here we are now, entertain us. So let's push on with episode 75 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Smells Like We and Spirits. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everybody?
Good evening.
Very well. I don't know when this is going to go out, but I just think that it's probably cold.
January.
Yes.
It's got to be January.
It has to be January.
January.
February.
Who has been doing what? Nothing interesting. No, fine. I haven't watched any more Marvel movies.
I've watched the second episode of Loki. I quite like the second episode of Loki. First one I thought,
Loki was good. I like Loki.
I've got a new project.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not really a project. It's not really a project. I watched just at random. I watched Deep Impact the other day.
Oh yeah.
That is a deeply odd movie. It is a really strange film. Have you seen? I mean, do you remember it?
Yeah. Is that the one with what she called Tia Leone?
Tia Leone.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman plays the president.
Yeah, that's right.
And basically, it's like it takes itself extremely seriously. It's just incredibly grim. I mean, it's just and it's got all of the elements. It's got the elements that are the thing that I'm thinking of is films. Dante's Peak and Volcano is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down. And then there's Deep Impact and there's Armageddon, right? Basically, Deep Impact and Armageddon come out in the same summer.
That's right.
Basically, they're the same movie.
But Armageddon was quite fun.
Armageddon is just basically gonzo hilarity. Yeah. I mean, it massively falls apart in the second half. Anyway, I'm going to watch it.
What's that one recently with Gerard Butler?
Exactly, Greenland. So Greenland is the movie that Deep Impact should have been. It also takes the whole thing seriously. It plays it straight, but isn't somehow, I don't know, there's no I get bothered. Movies that are just like Bruckheimer movies, fine, right? The Rock, whatever, fine. Oh, on The Rock, we'll come back to that, about the theory about James Bond. But anyway, when people stand and then trumpets just start playing in the background when they're delivering a speech.
Yeah.
That immediately, that's a kind of decision point for me. There's quite a lot of that in Deep Impact. Yeah, Morgan Freeman says, I have to tell you now. So just go into the background. Armageddon, they do it. They're like, we're just fucking with you. This is hilarious. Yeah. Deep Impact, they take it seriously. Greenland, they don't patronise you with any of that rubbish.
Worst film ever, 2012.
That is a dreadful, dreadful film. That's how you don't
think of worse though.
Anyway, very quickly before we start, and we have a recap. We'll get Lucas. You can do our recap this week. I was reading a weird internet theory that The Rock is the last James Bond adventure. That the Sean Connery character that they spring from jail
is James Bond.
In the 90s is James Bond. Yeah. And there's this whole sort of internet thread of like things that he says, references that he makes. The fact that he was imprisoned in Alcatraz sort of links somehow to the end of, I don't know, Diamonds Are Forever or something weird. The last Connery Bond movie is the end of the real Bond story. And then you don't see him again until The Rock. And then that character is James Bond. Worth digging into. I mean, it's complete bollocks, but it's worth digging into. Right.
It sounds very much like what's that nonsense that conspiracy theory in the States, whatever that one is.
Conspiracy theory about?
That basically Donald Trump is fighting a
QAnon
ring.
QAnon.
Yeah, it sounds like that in that, basically.
Yeah, a little bit less dangerous, but yes. Right.
I don't know. It depends if
Lucas, your recap, your long-looked-for recap, your long-awaited recap.
Off you go.
It was reasonably easy. We killed Hooves. We haven't worked out what to do with the sickly green beam. We searched the area and Dan did a clairvoyance because there were some footsteps coming up behind us.
It's behind you. Panto season.
Yeah,
there's our January link bonds. Anyway,
we haven't worked out what they are, and now we've opened the far door and we've come into this rather ornate room with some very, very old, wizened
Doesn't
lady.
look old.
No.
It doesn't look old.
No.
Looks like a young woman that has been
artificially aged.
Undeadified.
Okay. An undeadified young woman.
She turned to Alessandra and said, "Have you come to rescue me?"
Oh, yeah.
So we talked to her for a bit, and as far as we can work out, she doesn't seem to really remember anything, but We think that she's Garth Southportal's sister.
That's right.
Which is the guess. And then we searched around and we found this chest, which is sort of covered in all, I don't know, sort of scary carvings to do with worms rising up and
yes.
Bit creepy, really. And we think it's to do with Kios.
Yes,
anyway,
well remembered. Amazingly remembered. Yes.
Yes. Well, and then Uncle Buggie basically tried to open it, and the minute he did, he disappeared.
He did.
Yeah, and now we don't know whether he's been dimension doored off somewhere else, or whether he's in the chest, or I don't know. That's basically where we are.
Right, well, let's go.
The lock where he turned the key just clicks back to being into the locked state, and then pings out of the lock, and ding, 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 lands on the floor amongst Uncle Buggie's effects.
Oh, treasure.
Oh.
You mean I'm trapped inside the chest?
Dunno. That's what happens. Who wants to do what now? Let's start the clock. Let's start with Parker, who's standing closest. What do you want to do?
Run away!
Act surprised, first of all.
Do I know what it's about? Because I might have some protection or extra bonuses.
I understand your concern, but it's a unique effect, Buggy, that's not charted to any specific effect type that a feature or trait of yours may protect against. You're also assuming it's bad.
Well, yes.
Okay, before anything else happens, gather up all Buggy's stuff and bug it in his bag of holding.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So at least we won't lose it.
It's like he was never here. Is that it? Okay, fine, let's move on.
That's a round to begin with.
Sessions, what would you like to do?
I'm wondering whether my knowledge arcana might sort of suggest what's going on here as I see him disappear.
Give me a roll.
I'm not very good at this sort of stuff, but I get an 18.
18, you think that...
Did it look like a dimension door?
It didn't look like a dimension. It looked like... I'm assuming that Sessions saw this take place.
And I'm not standing next to him.
And applying your knowledge of Arcana, your feeling is that, yes, Buggy seems to have somehow been grabbed by the chest.
Mm-hmm.
That's your sense.
And did I get any sense of which way he turned the key?
Did you even ask him?
No, I mean, I didn't ask him, but I'm saying clockwise. Let's say clockwise.
Mm-hmm. Where is the key now?
It's on the floor in front of the chest. Unless Parker has picked it up and chucked it into the bag of holding with everything else.
No, I leave the key. Just want to make sure Buggy's stuff's safe.
Yep.
Poor old Uncle Buggie. We need to...
Very quickly, what about Alessandra? You hear a sort of gasp from behind you. Look over your shoulder. Buggy's gone. Parker is scooping Buggy's gear up in a sack. Sessions is peering at where Buggy was with a quizzical look on his face. What do you want to do?
I kind of go, oh, the Flange family. They are unfortunate, aren't they? I'm going to do a investigation check on the door. See if I can hear anything.
Investigation or perception?
Perception, sorry. I'll do... Yeah, I'm listening.
Make a perception check. Yep.
Getting a 23.
Are you facing your ear up against the door?
Yep.
You are. Okay. The moment you do... No, not really. You can similarly hear the crackling of a fire or some source, a candle or something, maybe another incense burner, from the other side of the door. And that is all.
Is there a lock?
There's a keyhole, just like the last door, but the last door was not locked.
Okay.
And this door, you don't know. You haven't tried it.
Okay.
That's good for you. What about
That's good
Burple?
for me.
Last person to act.
So, is there anything happening with my clairvoyance?
No, nothing. Nothing's happening at all. I mean, your clairvoyance is looking south from where the pit comes up, right? Looking down that corridor? No, you can't. And you've got it on vision, not sound.
Yes.
Nobody's stepped out into the corridor furtively or anything. I kind of guess what you're looking for. Nothing like that.
I'm going to move up to behind Sessions, near the room where Buggy's disappeared. His gear is on the floor, right?
No, his gear has been scooped up by Parker into his bag of holding.
Into Parker's bag of holding?
No, Parker has grabbed Buggy's bag of holding and scooped all of the rest of Buggy's gear into it.
Okay, so we can share it out later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, I think there's nothing else here. We should leave.
Okay, yeah, so that's you, Burple. Now, before I do anything else, Johnny, could you let me know so that I can make a note? Buggy's intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, please. Do you want to keep them confidential?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's pop into
character audit.
Let's pop into the broom cupboard, and you can tell me all about it.
Intelligence is going to be something like 8. Wisdom
14, charisma 10. Okay, thank you. That's good.
Charisma's going to be about 8.
Okay, thanks for that, Johnny. Yep, very interesting. Right, I'm just going to roll a dice and another. Okay, let's go back to... so, Parker, what do you want to do next?
I'm a bit at a loss to what to do, really. I'm certainly not touching the chest.
Right,
That's
not
for
touching
certain.
the chest.
I'm going to search around the room and see if there's
Searching the
any
room.
documents, tomes. I don't know. Maybe there's something that might give us a clue as to the nature of this chest.
Okay, fine. Do you want to pick it? Why don't you pick an area then? In a single kind of burst of searching. Yeah, you've either got desk and chair, or you've got shelves, or you've got bed.
Desk and chair.
Okay.
Oh, and actually,
fine.
while I'm about it,
Yeah.
what's the reaction of the Garth Portal's sister when this
The
happens?
Assuming that you can see her, I think she's in the corridor outside the room. She doesn't seem to register that as, but she doesn't seem to react, as we've already established, to very much.
Right.
She
okay.
doesn't really.
Can we ask her about the chest if she knows anything about the chest?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know.
Has you seen the chest being used in any way?
I can't remember. I know the room and I understand and I know I've seen it before, but I don't remember anything.
Right. Okay.
You don't find anything.
Well, I'll
in
go
the
back.
desk and chair. The desk doesn't have a, as we've already established, the desk doesn't have a drawer or anything. It's just a plain table, really.
Yeah, but and behind.
There's nothing secret. You can move it. You can look at it. There's nothing. So when I said you could pick between desk and chair, shelves or bed, I meant desk and chair, cupboard or bed.
Right. Well, we'll do the cupboard next then.
We are going to move on to sessions. What would you like to do? We're just going to run round the table. We're not doing 6-second rounds, but we are trying to enforce an element of the clock ticking.
So, I think I saw Buggy insert the key and turn it. Is this my memory?
I think that's a fair. You're standing near enough. Yes, you saw
Alessandra threw the key to him.
Tricky. So it's
Well,
quite tempting to try the key, which has fallen on the ground, or at least I'll recover the key. Yeah.
Fine. Stepping into the chamber.
Stepping into the chamber, I'm going to have
The chest is right in front of you. Yep.
I have Mage Hand.
That would probably
Okay.
be a good thing.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
I was thinking maybe. Yeah, I can't do detect magic except as a ritual, as far as I can see,
Yeah.
which is a little frustrating because that takes 10 minutes. Has anyone picked up the chest?
Nobody has moved it or touched it, so far as I'm aware, apart from Buggy.
Okay, I will draw my mace and I will prod the chest and move it around.
When you say prod, can you be quite specific? Are you prodding it like you want to dent it, or are you prodding it like you want to literally gingerly touch it with the end of the mace?
I'm going to prod it like a cat would prod an object on a table. So I'm going to gently tap it
Gingerly.
and see whether I can make it move. I mean, the other thing it might be is some sort of mimic.
It slides.
So
Yes, no, it slides. It slides. It feels as difficult to move as it looks. We're not talking about the largest object in the world, but it's not full of bricks or lead or anything. If you try and push it, it budges a little on the floor with a kind of dull
can I tip it over?
scratch. Onto its side,
Well, if I was to say put the mace on the end of it, push it against the wall, can I kind of flip it over?
I would say you can. You want to flip it onto its end.
Yeah, onto its end. I want to see what it
there's
sounds
anything
like when it
underneath it.
moves around.
Okay, yes. So if you flip it onto
Very
its
good.
end, you hear the sound of some rattling within it, but otherwise nothing happens.
And a voice going,
Oi!
Well, that's what I was hoping maybe I would hear.
I mean, can you give me a perception check when you're doing all this, because you're looking at the chest?
14.
Yeah. Okay. You notice something when
yeah.
you're tipping the chest over and you're looking at it. You realise that the carving on the side that Alessandra mentioned to you, but that you've not yet studied before, but that you know featured two layers, one showing the above world, one showing the underworld, with horrible worms coming up from below to tower over people above and awful undead and so forth. One of these figures on the upper level, as in the above world, bears an astonishingly uncanny resemblance to Uncle Buggie.
sorry, where is this?
On the chest. Okay, I call Sandra over
Yes,
and I point that out to her.
yes.
I wonder whether that's what she thinks she saw.
Alessandra, you think you'd have noticed if you'd have recognised Uncle Buggie amongst the figures on the carving.
Yeah, I would
So
have said
some kind of
something.
mirror of life trapping type thing.
difficult to say. But
Difficult to
that's
say.
while we're on Alessandra, what would you like to do, Alessandra?
Well, Alessandra's kind of going to say, should we find a really deep hole and just drop this down into it? And then smiles.
Nice.
We've got a few kind of fronts available to us here because we've still got the green beam and the witch stick rub. We've got this door which I've listened at, and there's something possibly going on there, and then we've got this chest. Are we going to focus on the chest? And we got the sister.
Well, I think we want to focus on Uncle Buggie, don't we?
We want to focus on the
He's
chest.
a long-time member of this party, newcomer.
I think the problem is we don't know whether the answer is with the chest or somewhere else. It could be somewhere else. It could be through that door. But opening that door could also start a big new fight, potentially. So
Alessandra's going to check if the door's locked. That's what she's going to do. Let's get a bit...
Door to the north is
Is it?
not locked.
It's not locked, I can tell.
I
that.
mean,
Okay, I think that's plenty for a round.
Purple.
So I can either mage hand or detect magic. What do you think, guys?
I think detect magic will detect lots and lots and lots of magic.
Yeah, but effectively, if you concentrate on it, you can narrow it down and see what radiates magic. So if I were to move in to the room and stand next to the chest and then do detect magic.
I'd be incredibly surprised if you didn't detect magic.
Yeah, but doesn't detect magic give you extra bits of information?
It can tell you what school of magic, I think.
Tells you the school of magic. Yeah.
Yeah, so that seems like it might be quite useful, but open to other suggestions. I'm just looking
None
up
of us
detect
know what to
magic.
do.
I think there is a time element.
Do you think we have enough time to ritual?
No, I reckon he's suffocating. That would be my guess. I reckon
So we can
he's
see
in
Uncle
an extra
Buggie on
dimension. I think he's been sucked into an extra dimensional space, and he is suffocating where he is.
Is the
It's like
picture of Buggy changing, or is it just...
Are you studying the
That's a good
chest,
question.
Parker?
Yes, I will go over now and I'll stop.
Searching, and you
I'll
study
stop.
the chest.
Yeah, so instead of going to the wardrobe, I'll go over and...
At a glance, you can tell that none of the carvings are moving. What are you looking for if you study the chest?
Do we sense that any sort of change over time in the sense of...
The only change that you've identified is that Buggy is among the carved figures when he wasn't before.
And what's his stance or...
He looks terrified.
Right.
He looks like he's being victimized by these giant, awful undead worms and other horrors that are
Right.
stalking the above ground world. He's naked
Okay.
in the picture, which I should have... Sorry, readers, I should have warned you.
Oh dear, that's
But just...
That's
you can
bad
just
Well,
then.
seeing
clear
as I
that
had
in
to
your
pick
minds.
up all his clothes and stuff, one sort of
Yeah,
assumed that... Okay.
Is there any indication on the box at all of sort of, I don't know, path out or the release method?
Why don't you give me an Arcana check, Sessions, if you're studying the chest in that way? It's standing on its end, by the way, at this point, right? What's that in total?
That's 14.
Okay. You think, studying it, your sense is that there is some kind of... I mean, no sighing, please, when I reveal this. There is some kind of magical trap associated with this chest. You can't determine its nature or its workings. You don't need to detect magic. I mean, something magical has obviously happened. It wasn't it wasn't sleight of hand.
Was anybody...
There's no trapdoor or anything like that, right? So something magical has happened. Buggy has disappeared. He did so at the moment that he turned the key in the lock.
Can we
That's what he thinks.
give the chest a look, see if there's possibly a concealed keyhole?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
You are going to
very
have to
good.
make an investigation check. Are you going to touch the chest as you do so?
Let me see how good
You're
my
not really the experts here. but
This
is
is not really very
Alessandra's.
good at that.
Alessandra's territory.
Maybe I
really.
should be stepping in at this moment in time.
My thinking is that was there anything else on hooves that seemed, some kind of
No.
protection, or is there some kind of? There must be some way into this chest. This is
There was
a
a
magical
rod
protection
thing.
on the check. There was a rod.
Yeah, the rod, you're not sure. Okay, I mean, you don't know.
So has anyone looked in the cupboard?
Nobody's looked in the
No,
cupboard.
that was what I was about to do.
I think the first thing to do is
Next
to give the
round.
chest a good examination.
Yeah.
Buggy didn't
It
do
w-
that, did he? He just rushed up and put the key in the lock.
Well, why doesn't
Agreed. But what I'm
Alessandra-
thinking is that maybe there is some kind of while you're wearing this amulet, you're protected against the magical effect of the chest, or something along those lines.
The only thing that even resembles the amulet of which I can see where you're heading with this, Dan, which is that there is some sort of identifier.
It's a booby trap.
Pass key that you have to be wearing, and then you're okay. He was wearing the green skull symbol of Kios, a holy symbol, on a chain around his neck.
Right.
Hooves. But,
and he still is? Or have we taken
I'm assuming it was in amongst the effects that I described to you. I don't know if anybody really gave me much detail about where you were putting those things.
Have we established whether that amulet was magical?
I don't think. I think you thought about detect magic and
I
then
will
decided
do
it wasn't
magic, and I will do it on the chest and on the amulet and on the rod.
The chest is magical.
Yeah.
The rod is magical.
Aura?
The chest has got a strong abjuration aura on it.
Yeah.
The rod, I'd have to check for you. The holy symbol is magical in the sense that it is a priest's holy symbol, but nothing more than that. I would presume, therefore, it would have a sort of, I don't know, I'm guessing like a necromantic-y kind of aura, right? I don't know quite how a priest's holy symbol kind of functions in the magic world. In terms of the rod, I mean, I don't know, I'm afraid, but I'm thinking necromantic.
Okay.
I mean, that might give away the fact that I don't know that it's that relevant, but hey. Alessandra, were you going to do something?
Yes, I was going to give it a thorough investigation.
Give me an investigation check, please.
Okay. I'd like to do that again.
Okay,
Rolling
well,
you
can have one more go, and then after that things get a little bit more difficult. I think that's the convention that we've established.
That is the convention we've established. This time I get a 16.
A 16 is enough for you to determine Sandy.
Baby.
Who?
Again, no eye rolling, please, on this stunning revelation that yes, there is a magical trap on the chest, and that you feel that though it's a real piece of work, you don't know that it's beyond you to disable it. But crucially, and this is what your 16 tells you, you feel you would need the help of someone who understands the arcane to work with you in doing so.
Excellent.
Blimey.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's a mechanical element that really looks pretty challenging but is not necessarily beyond you. And there's an arcane element that would need to be addressed at the same time. So we're talking probably about two people working together.
Mm-hmm.
Highly effective.
Highly effective. Highly effective.
Dribble. Pass. I have Arcana +1.
Oh, you're a star. I have Arcana +0.
Anybody beat any of those?
I've got +1.
Okay, well...
So it could be that she does it on her own.
We're talking about effectively a dexterity check using your thieves' tools, Alessandra. Yep.
Okay.
But first, Team Arcane has to do their bit. The person who's kind of understands the arcane, who is helping you, is effectively going to be giving you a read about how to approach the mechanical disablement.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if somebody can give you a bit of help with that. Who is going to make that roll?
Can we all roll?
Who's got the highest bonus?
You can all roll. I can't see any reason why you couldn't all
chip in.
You could all chip in. I think the issue here is about who Sandra listens to. That would be the question, about whether or not you know that you've made the right determination, right? But I can adjudge that. That's fine.
Burple gets 20.
Oh, okay.
I'll listen to Burple.
Yeah.
The rest of us stop talking.
Yeah.
No, I think we should roll. See how distracting we were.
Yeah.
Okay, Alessandra, you can make a dexterity check using your thieves' picks and tools. You'll be adding twice your proficiency bonus and your dexterity bonus to the roll,
which is 6 dexterity. We'll take it to
I'll cast guidance
plus
on you.
9.
So you're rolling a d20 and a d4, and you're adding 9. And because Burple aced that Arcana check, you can roll this disabled device check at advantage. But, and I don't think I need to stress this,
you really want to make this?
You've got one go at this. You feel that the stakes are high.
Okay.
Drum roll.
14.
So I get a 23 as the highest one of those.
Yes.
And add the D4. Add the D4.
I'm rolling a D4.
26.
26. And Alessandra, by one. Alessandra.
By 1. I thought it was
successfully worked the little
wasn't it?
tip of one of your prongs into this lock.
Yeah.
There was a definite moment there, Alessandra, where you thought, if this goes wrong, I've got a nasty feeling I'm joining Uncle Buggie.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you feel Lady Luck's hand on your shoulder, and at the last instant, you just move that little thing across a tumbler just a little bit, and it goes ding, and the chest flips open, and Uncle Buggie appears on the floor next to you. He's unconscious and naked.
Excellent.
You could do with him as you will.
Put him back in.
Yeah,
Put him back in.
It's like that. Cut the blue wire, and then you hover over and cut the red one, and the timer stops.
Of course, we can tell Uncle Buggie that his stuff never reappeared.
Hello. No, I'm too honest, I'm afraid, for that.
Hello.
Hello what?
Here's Uncle Buggie.
Still unconscious.
We've got to distribute Buggie's kit, don't we?
Yeah, unfortunately, you woke up with no arms.
So what the hell was going on? What did you do?
We saved your butt again.
Disabled the traps, basically.
Stuck in the chest, was I?
Yeah. Alessandra saved your butt. Together with Burple. And maybe a bit of Sessions.
Yeah, I think possibly the spell was in fact the tipping point. Just to be.
I think not.
I think it was a team effort.
I think it was.
Okay, I'll get a copper piece out and press it into Alessandra's palm and say, "Thank you very much."
You don't have any copper.
You're unconscious.
We've got all
naked.
your stuff.
Yes, and all your stuff is in a bag of holding.
Well, actually, all of your stuff disappeared.
Yeah.
Strangely, it was really odd. It was there one moment, and then it's just disappeared.
So what happened to you when you went in the chest?
No idea.
Mike never told you?
No.
That's a bit...
I guess I was unconscious in the chest.
So, he's just lying there.
He's lying there, he's unconscious.
Okay.
He's unconscious.
Tattoo some...
shave off one eyebrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to tattoo a standing wave onto his arm, onto his forehead.
I mean, you got a feeling that he's not that unconscious, but yeah.
Damn it. Okay, well, I'll hit him until he's really unconscious.
Is there anything else in the chest?
Yeah, there's stuff in the chest. Let me just roll the d6. 1 to 3, fine. 4 to 6, maybe not fine. 1 to 3, fine. Okay. Sessions upending the chest didn't break anything in it because it's mostly bottles.
Ooh, potions.
Yeah, it looks like you've got a couple of things in there. You have clearly some potions or potion bottles, and there is a little. I suppose I would describe it as like a little dice bag, like a little drawstring purse, the size of, let's say, your fist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of scroll cases.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biting point. Do they further investigate, spend resources on working out what the stuff is, or do they try and revive their comrade? And let's see.
Right, tell me about this bag.
Oh, he's looking quite peaceful, lying there, just having a bit of a
Bang
snooze.
Buggy against these items. What happens?
He's not going anywhere. So
What do you want to do next?
so that's it. So potions, drawstring brag, and
I'll tell you what you have 3 dark glass files with glass stoppers.
Yeah.
Paul, are you writing this down?
You have one sort of crystal cut file that looks quite posh. That's a clear glass with a liquid in it, a clear liquid in it. Then you've got this little pouch, little purse or dice bag. But if you're taking this stuff out of the chest, you're reaching into the chest, taking it out. The moment you do, you pick the things up, and the pouch feels like it's got sand in it, basically. I mean, it feels like it hasn't got anything that rattles, it hasn't got coins in it. It feels like it's got a sort of malleable
dust.
Something. And then you've got 2 scroll cases. They're not particularly marked. They're just, they've got capped ends. You'd have to open them and have a look.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Buggy starts snoring and
Someone wake me up.
rolls over on his side.
Give him a kick. Does he wake up?
I'll throw a blanket over him.
He comes to. He's quite groggy.
Really?
Is
And-
it the real Buggy?
He looks. Well, this is the thing. Looks like Buggy. Certainly smells like Buggy.
Smells like Teen Spirit.
It smells like wee and spirits. Yeah, and so you know it's Buggy.
And garlic.
And yeah, he seems a bit groggy. Buggy, you don't feel great. You just had a
What's
very
going on here?
weird.
What's going on?
You had a very weird dream about basically being in some awful kind of hellscape.
Give me a beer.
In terms of your general well-being, could you make a quick note that you are down 1 point of intelligence, 4 points of wisdom, and a point of charisma?
Oof.
Temporarily.
You're not sure. You're making a note of that.
Nope.
1 point of...
Permanently.
Point of
Blasted.
intelligence.
Yeah, blasted.
Point of
4
intelligence.
points of wisdom and a point of charisma have gone missing somewhere.
Well, when you reach 0 wisdom, don't you die, or don't you become kind of catatonic and
Well,
He'll
like a
have
vegetable?
reasonable wisdom, isn't he? He's a
luckily
cleric.
we didn't get to that point.
Stick him in a pot.
How
Stick
do
him in
we
a pot.
Yes.
identify these items?
Well,
The potions and the dust.
I don't know about Burple's detect magic if that's still running. What's the duration? Is it concentration? I don't think you would have.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have had to have dropped it in order to carry out the Arcana part of that task, so
No,
you
no.
can still be running it. Well, then I think I just tell you, don't I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just taste a bit and you know.
If you open one of the darker glass files and you dip the tip of your finger in, you find an oily substance which you identify, Burple, as oil of gentle repose. Not particularly exciting. It's like an embalmer's.
Yeah.
It's like magic embalmer's fluid.
Yep.
Right.
That's the same for all 3 of those bottles.
Okay.
The clear flask is a potion of greater healing.
Nice.
Okay.
The scrolls, you can open the cases and you can read the titles.
Yeah.
Anybody going to tell me that you can't? I think you can. One is a scroll of greater restoration.
Ooh.
One is a scroll of death ward.
Ah, that's quite good, I think.
And then the bag has got some dust in it.
Dust.
Dust. Let me just see if there's a specific description. Seems to be full of fine sand. It's got an
Is it magical?
illusion aura to it.
Dust of appearance. Dust of disappearance.
Mm.
Do I feel it's dust of disappearance? right?
left associated with it for an hour,
Yeah,
you would know what it was. But
it's dust of disappearance.
without an hour and just the aura, it's got an illusion aura on it, and it's dust.
Of disappearance.
Dust of disappearance.
But people reuniting Buggy with his gear.
All right
Okay,
then.
you're not.
Pose
Roll
for a
for
feat.
magic.
Right, we're rolling for the magic then? Mm-hmm.
What did you have?
Yes, when we're rolling for the magic, Johnny, it's your kit we're rolling for.
No.
Well, now what?
Now,
The hacker is still standing in the
Yeah,
corridor,
I
by
think,
the way. Looking
She's
blankly at
standing,
you.
or didn't we get her a stretcher or something?
this is the next thing. So
She's just standing in the corridor looking blankly at you. Honestly, all of this stuff. Somebody give me just a straight intelligence check.
Stand in the beam.
Oh, there's something I forgot, actually. There's something I forgot that's in the chest.
Oh, yeah.
There
The
was a piece
Medusa
of paper.
head.
You found something else in the chest. You found a piece of paper. Was in the
Oh.
chest.
What did it
Fold it up
say?
into an aeroplane shape.
The important thing is, on one side of this piece of paper is the sigil, the tentacular sigil of Zerxog the Mind Flayer.
the
On
X
the other side of the paper, it says, in common, written in Zerxog's tentacly hand, I can do as you ask, but you must bring the girl to me. That's all it says. And when you're looking at that piece of paper, and you're looking at Lahaka, why doesn't somebody give me a straight intelligence check?
okay.
Intelligence. Oh.
It's good enough.
Gets 20.
Yeah, but purple. Blood's
Oh,
on fire.
wow, you're on. Yeah,
Best character, you see.
inspired tonight.
That piece of information, plus studying Lahaka and rifling around in your memory, her behaviour, I mean, she's a little bit more talkative, but her behaviour resembles nothing so
Right.
much as the behaviour of the captives that you freed from the brain
Yes.
zombies in the caverns.
Right.
And the thrall, maybe those that wait servants of Zerxog that you freed from the little chamber
Yes.
beside his great hall.
So we haven't found a cure, have we? But yeah, okay.
Her state looks. I mean, there's something else going on here because there's clearly something weirdly necromantic going on here, right? I mean, she's not alive, but in terms of her ability to kind of react to stimuli, remember things, engage, she's sort of in that area.
Right.
We
Well,
sent them all off to Eligos, didn't we? So we don't actually know whether Eligos did anything to them.
Well, Eligos, the one of them was more kind of compos mentis than the others, but yeah, you don't know what came of them. I mean,
Do
you know
we
that
feel
Eligos
like
likes
a
to eat
sort
human
of
flesh.
greater restoration might have an effect on?
You're not certain, but you would have thought that that's in the right area.
It's whether or not we want to use a scroll of greater restoration on her rather than one of us when we need it.
You've also got somebody who may want the services of a scroll of greater restoration already.
Do we? Buggy?
Buggy, I would think.
Anyway,
Yeah, I think we use it on her, personally.
well, what would you like to do now? You've got a door to your north. Sandra has determined that that is not locked. You have your crackling green beam, of course, and your scrolls on the altar, all rather scary. And then the only other thing I should kind of just make sure that you're staying on top of, and I presume, by the way, how does that work, by the way, Burple, with your detect magic or any of that other business? Can you maintain your clairvoyance spell?
Yes. Oh.
So that's not
no,
concentration.
That's a good point. No, it is the concentration. Yes, clairvoyance.
Okay, so
that's a good point.
the last thing you got from your clairvoyance spell, which is, we should stress, is only a matter of a minute or so ago, was that there was no motion or movement.
What I was thinking was, rather than risk, I'm quite low on spells. So rather than risk a potential combat by opening that door to the north of that room, I was thinking of doing my last third level as a clairvoyance through there to see what's in there. And we can decide whether we want to go through or not. What do you think?
Clever.
I think that's a good idea.
So I'll do that.
How far on the other side of the door do you want to bring your little sensor into being? Like an inch, a foot, 5 foot? What sort of scale are we talking about?
Let's say a foot and a half.
Okay, I shall reveal some things to you.
It's a fisheye lens. It's like a fisheye lens, so I can see basically everything.
So what you can see through your clairvoyance spell, you've brought the sensor into being looking north up a short passageway, about 15 feet. And then you get, from your point of view, it's impossible to determine exactly, but you feel that it then opens up. So this little passageway opens up into some kind of room. And then on the far side, directly opposite you, another 15-foot corridor leading to another door on the other side. So you're looking at effectively a mirrored situation, symmetrical, north-south. But your angle gives you a bit of a view of the floor space as it opens out in between those two corridors. To your right, you can see that it's just a normal, what seems to be a standard flagstone floor. It matches the architecture, everything else that you've seen so far. On the left, on the other hand, there's something else going on. There is a curtain. It's green and black checkered, where you would expect your angle of vision to show you a little bit more of the left-hand side as you're looking at it. You can't see that part of the room because there's this curtain.
Okay.
Behind which is the Great Oz.
There is some light coming into this room from your right, so from the east. There is some kind of something is burning. I mean, it could be an incense burner, just like the one that's in the room that you're in now, but there may be a bit more light than you'd expect to come from that. Maybe a brazier or something.
Right.
Other than that, there is nothing to tell you.
Right.
You can't move this sensor, no?
No, I can't move it. What I think, guys, is that we have this woman to get out of here, right? So we need to get her back to Garth South Portal. Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to take a little while. We can dimension door out and dimension door back. How many dimension doors have you got, Graham?
2, I think.
You've got 2. So that would need to be you. I've only got 1 left.
Let me confirm.
But at the same time, we want to scout as much of this place as we can, I think, because we're going to have limited time, and we might lose our fight.
Why do we need to get Larka out as soon as possible? I don't quite understand.
Well, what are we going to do? Go back to the Cenobee and then sit there with her? What are we going to do with her?
Well, she doesn't seem to be. I mean, can she not hang around?
If she's undead, can we not stick her in the bag of holding?
It's actually quite a good idea.
It's actually not a bad idea.
It'd be a bit cramped, but it could be done.
Can I put a seat in there for her? Sit down on it?
Again, that would make it more cramped. It's 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot, this bag of holding.
Yeah.
So she would have to sort of fold herself up a bit to get in there, and you've got a suit of scale mail in there, plus all of your other possessions.
I mean, does she really need to go in the bag of holding? I mean, danger is she in?
Effectively, she's bendable, posable. Yeah, I mean, she's...
shove her in the bag of holding.
Well,
really?
only if she...
Nothing else is happening. Everything else is quiet. Just the crackling of the incense burner.
So it's about 10:30.
But I think the last time we checked the time, we guessed the time, it was 9 something.
Right, we do have time.
Yeah, and she's not in a situation where she's deteriorating. I mean, she's just basically undead and confused, right?
That's right. You can't take another long rest today. You don't have time anyway.
Yeah.
You can only take one in a 24-hour period. So you've got to try and think about that, perhaps, because of your about at 8 o'clock. Other than that, you are...
When was our last long rest?
Well, you long rested at about noon today.
So basically, we turn into pumpkins at 12 o'clock noon tomorrow and have to basically rest until literally...
about at 8.
About at 8,
I mean, can we not start resting slightly earlier?
I think as long as you take only one. Oh, okay, I mean, it
One per
depends on how
24-hour
you.
period.
Yeah. I don't
it's
think
a bit
I.
hand wavy, isn't it?
I'm taking that to be something that's guided by the divine Ut, as in the wheel of days turns for the time being. Yeah, rather than
The who?
So we
let's not
could.
go into that again, Paul.
So it seems to me that we could carry on exploring and then return this lady to her brother tomorrow morning, essentially.
The thing is whether we get involved in a fight.
I'm chipping in all the time, but I mean, he's not around, right? I mean, you see him when he comes in for the bouts. He comes in for the draw and important kind of events in the games. He's a manager. He's allowed in to visit you, but he's not waiting in the car outside. If you see what I mean.
What I mean
house, but Elagos's house is not far.
Elagos' house is not far.
Yeah,
no.
but
Graham could dimension door into the street with her, and then
Yes.
walk, and then dimension door back in again.
is your only concern that we get into a fight
Well, I've got
and then
no third level.
she's
spells
going
left.
to get destroyed?
I've got no third level spells left. So if we get into a fight, we're not well powered, and I've got basically my dimension door as a 4th level. I've got 2 seconds. So what I was thinking was do a invisibility on Sandra so that she can then go and scout that area.
Sandra.
I don't know who you're talking about.
We've also got this crackly green energy and the double doors. If we can somehow disrupt that energy,
Maybe that's what the rod does.
we could take a short rest and do some identifiers.
I think that's probably the best idea,
What?
is to take the short rest to identify if there's any kit that we've got that we don't know what it does that could disrupt the green beam. Other than that, Alessandra's happy to go off and do a bit of scouting.
Well, there was some noise behind us, wasn't there, as well?
There was some noise back up, I think, towards the stairs, so the coffin room back up to the secret entrance. So maybe... I don't know what that means, though, because we saw nothing, and I kept watch throughout that whole combat. We saw nothing.
I think it's probably worth, before we decide, maybe nipping out through that door and have a peer into the bigger room.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
And then we could decide whether we're going to have a rest or not.
We could rest here. We're not disturbed.
Yeah.
I'm going to stealthily open the northern door.
To the area that Burple's clairvoyance has been looking at.
I do think whilst I'm doing this, you should try and take a bit of a rest and see if you can identify what the rod does.
Okay, you're opening the door.
Actually, before you actually do that, we give Buggy needs his stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming you've reunited Buggy with his gear.
Yeah.
All right.
You reckon?
Yes.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Stealth at advantage.
Yeah.
I get a 29.
Okay. You're silent as a cloud as you gingerly push the door open. It opens towards you.
Yep.
And you can see what Burple described to you. A little passageway leading up. It opens up into a room, and then directly opposite, another little passageway leading further north. Are you padding up the corridor?
Yep.
I think we'll take that as all part of the same stealth check. You get to the, as it were, to the threshold of the room, and I can show you a bit more.
Yep.
Just while we're doing this, just so that we're clear, Buggy, Burple, Parker, Sessions, what are you doing while Sandy does this?
Well, if Sandy does that, I'm continuing to focus on the rod.
Excuse me?
Alessandra.
Who?
Buggy's going up to the door to offer support to Alessandra.
Yeah, I'll basically stand next to Buggy as well.
And then Burple?
I'm going to go and watch behind us.
Okay, so you're going to wander back into the other chamber.
Yeah.
You've got the scrolls, and you've got this green energy crackle running through the room.
The scrolls are still on the table, aren't they? But we can't. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. They're sort of incorporeal, aren't they? So we can't really affect them.
So far. Alessandra, anyway, in the meantime, let me reveal what you can see when you creep up the corridor into this chamber. First of all, you've got the curtain on your left. And then you have a room that opens out to your right. It leads off to your right about 10, 15 feet. There's a wall running south-north, so to your right. There is a brazier. It's like a incense burner brazier type structure on a little brass tripod in the corner of the room. The curtain to your left is of green and black checks. Give me a religion check if you have it, or just a straight. Where does religion come off? Intelligence, or a straight intelligence check if you don't.
I've got religion at +1, but I've got intelligence at +6 with proficiency and also the ring.
The ring?
Ring of protection +2 gives me +2 on it.
No, the ring doesn't give. You're looking at your saving throws.
Looking at myself.
I hate to embarrass you in front of our listenership of 12 people.
But that is really embarrassing.
But that is
Yes.
really embarrassing. That's what
Yes.
you're looking at. So what we're talking about here is whether or not you're making an intelligence check or an intelligence brackets religion check. I think religion comes off intelligence. Does it?
Yeah, it's the
Graham,
same-
or is it
it'll be
wisdom?
The same thing.
We're not looking for a spectacular number.
Just as well. 'cause
That's
it's a
perfectly
14.
fine. That's perfectly fine. So this green and black checkered pattern.
Chaos.
Yes, that folds in with everything else that you're seeing here. You're learning that green and black seem to be the colours of chaos.
Yeah.
And so that this curtain is just not black and green checks for randomly. It's not there for the aesthetics of it. Really pulls the room together. Do you know what I mean? It's there. It's a chaosy curtain. And then to your north, you've got a little passageway that leads up and there's a door.
Okay.
That looks anonymous and boring.
Excellent. Shall I continue?
Are you narrating what you can see?
Yes.
Anybody else want to do anything? React to what Alessandra is describing?
No, I'm going to wait by the door
What's behind
and
the
just...
curtain?
Exactly. It's very tempting. Very tempting.
Very tempting. Nothing bad ever happens.
Just a worm.
Curtains are always good.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll another stealth?
Yes. Can you roll a stealth check if you wish to kind of...
Continue on.
Yeah.
Rolling a 21.
You're very quiet. You can pad into the room.
Does the curtain reach all the way to the floor?
The curtain reaches all the way to the floor and is hanging from a steel bar that seems to be anchored to the southern and northern parts of the room that you can't see because the curtain is obscuring it, right? But that would mean that there would be maybe an inch at the top of that, above that bar. Technically, one could, if you could find something to stand on, you could look over the curtain.
Is it a single curtain or is it a double curtain?
It's a single curtain. It's like a shower curtain.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go and get the chair from behind the desk in what's her name's room, and I'm going to go and stand on the chair.
I love that chair.
And look over the curtain.
So, okay, no more pretense at stealth, right? You're taking a
Well,
kitchen chair.
I'm
Well,
going to still try and do it stealthily. I can still.
Okay, well, so
pick
you're really, really quietly trying to lower the kitchen chair onto the floor. Okay, yeah, give me
Yeah.
it's fine. Give me a
Comedy
stealth check.
value going on here.
Give me a stealth check. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. That's how we do this.
24.
Okay, so you basically put the chair down this is like Mission Impossible. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Marcel or something in some...
Yeah. Okay.
Little
And
cork feet or
then
something, so it's nice and quiet.
Stand on the chair.
Here,
And it
you
crashes
stand
underneath
on
me.
the chair. I'm
Gonna hand the hat round
I'm
afterwards.
discounting. I've got a 2-for-1 offer. The standing on the chair under the same stealth check. Tempting though it would be for you to roll a 1
Yeah.
and tip the whole thing over. And you very gingerly just peek over the top of the curtain and you can see into the rest of the room. What you can see, Alessandra, is you making a DC 18 or wisdom save right now, and then I will describe what it is that is causing you to make that wisdom save. How does that sound?
Right then. That's not going to happen.
Reincarnate.
You really want to make
Damn it.
You make the save. Right, what happens is
Your leg falls off.
you manage to resist the overwhelming urge to flee as you look over the curtain. I've got some things to describe to you.
Yeah.
None of the things I'm about to describe to you are good news.
Okay.
Let's start with the best news. That is that the far side of the room from you, the western wall of this chamber,
Yeah.
is completely filled with a mosaic of tiny green and black tiles, so arranged to depict the horrible skull of Kios. And that skull was what made you almost shit your pants.
Yes.
And then you resisted it, and you held your nerve long enough to see the following. Standing in front of this mosaicked wall, there is a 6-foot-tall black earthenware urn. Uncle Buggie and Alessandra and Parker, can you all give me wisdom checks, please? Not saving throws, wisdom checks.
A straight wisdom.
Let's roll D20, add your wisdom modifier.
20.
Yeah, okay. Uncle Buggie,
4.
That's a fail.
not great. Right, Sandra and Uncle Buggie, there's an odd sensation that you can't place, but you feel like the air pressure has rapidly gone up in this area the moment that you looked over the curtain, can't quite work out what the physics of that might be. There's a weird feeling in your inner ear of air pressure. Parker, you get the same thing, but Parker, you recognize it. It's exactly or very similar to, if not
when we were
maybe
down.
a little stronger than,
Down the mine.
weird change of pressure that you got. Yes, when that weird orange entity was brought into being by those that wait priestess in the mines, or rather in the caverns before you got to Zerxog's halls. It's exactly the same. Well, I say it's exactly the same. It feels a little bit more intense and powerful. And the reason for that is all too clear to you, Sandra, because bubbling out of this is some kind of creature. What I would describe it to you as, since you saw the orange, weird tree, one-eyed horror in the caverns, is it's like that, but like a much larger, or rather much rounder pudding of that is blubbering out of the top of this urn towards you in a rush, and it's got multiple eyes dotted around its horrible gelatinous surface.
Cubilex, the demon lord.
And we've got to do a couple of things. The first thing is that the room that you're in, Sandra, and everywhere around you fills with awful, noxious green gas.
Right.
And the second thing is that we should roll for initiative.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Run away. Maybe this is the trigger mechanism to release the
Here
worm.
we go.
Oh, I think we should run away.
16.
I'm wondering.
Oh.
16.
Alessandra's got an 18, thank God.
12 for purple.
Buggy, what you get?
13. Good job I got boots of speed. I can move very fast in the opposite direction.
Lucky I didn't burn that dimension door. I can move very fast.
Parker, you
So-
spike the door shut and I'll run.
And I get that. Okay, let's light up the board. And we start with this cloud. The cloud covers or affects Parker, Uncle Buggy, and Alessandra.
Oh, what?
Oh, what?
Oh, what?
It does, I'm afraid. That's just the way it is, isn't it?
Even after
Just-
all my stealthiness.
Whatever this weird entity was just waiting.
I don't want to get all sort of metagamey, but you've centered it on basically the square and the corner of the curtain. Should it not be
I
centered?
think you've got a point, and I'm going to just slightly change things a little. I think it would center it around Alessandra, and that might mean that you're free of it. Yeah, it does. So, Sandra, you must make a DC 15 Constitution save, please, as you start your turn in the cloud.
It's a stinking cloud.
Which I don't get with a 7,
Well, you have an Ort dice.
which I will take. I don't need it, because I don't need to roll the 6, because I got a 22.
You're okay.
But
No, you're okay. You're surrounded by gas. What would you like to do on your turn?
what can I see?
Nothing much. I mean, you know
So vision
where
of
the corridor is to your south. You're standing right on the threshold of it.
So I can move through it. My movement isn't
Yes.
up. I'm still
I
on
don't
normal movement.
think your movement is impacted. No.
I just can't see anything, but I know where I am. In which case, I'm just going to run straight back out, Zaf, back into the room,
Okay. Anything
out
else?
of the cloud. I'm going to use a disengage action and then just do a move.
Okay, and you're moving back into the chamber behind Buggy and Parker in the doorway.
Free
Yeah.
action, shut the door as you come through.
Yep.
Okay. Sessions on 16.
Yeah. I think I will withdraw into the room with green beam.
Graham's nightmare. The high initiative roll.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? 1, 2. Yep, I'll go into the room with green beam, consult with Burple.
Okay, you hear a kind of bubbling, hissing, horrible noise coming from, through the other way, and gas is sort of filling the area north of the other guys. Parker on 16.
Are we going to spike this thing shut, Buggy?
Yeah, I'm just going to run.
Buggy, you're holding a set of keys in your hand.
Am I? Okay.
I mean, assuming that everything that you had on you.
Oh, does this door have a lock?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, lock it, Buggy.
Yeah, I'll lock it and then run.
Okay, well,
Okay,
I will.
so Parker,
then
you're
I will
running.
run. I will run. That was free action to discuss that point, and then I will run away and follow Sessions.
Okay, I've got an important question for you now, Buggy.
Yeah.
What is your initiative modifier?
It's +2.
+2. Oops. Okay, you don't go before this thing goes.
Has someone shut the door though on the way back?
Yeah,
Yes.
the door.
Yes.
The door was
Yeah.
shut.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You just haven't locked the door yet,
Yeah.
right?
No.
That's all I'm establishing. You hear something slobbling around towards the door.
Slobbling.
It moves very quickly.
Right.
You hear it rushing towards you, and the door, Buggy, you get the opportunity at this point to try and hold the door closed. If you do, you make opposed strength checks, you win a draw. If you win or we draw, you can hold the door closed, and then we can think about how complicated it might be for you to fumble for a key and lock the door. If you fail, the door bursts open and this thing will be on you. What would you like to do?
Well, not much choice really. I'm going to try and hold the door open.
Okay,
Shut,
let's roll
rather.
opposed strength checks.
Yeah,
I
I'm
get a
not
total
raging.
of 10. That's pretty disappointing.
Good noise.
I'm going to roll mine. I had 3.
Drum roll.
Yes, getting
18.
on
Ooh,
the
rolled
door
off a
closed. Okay,
5.
Uncle Buggy, can you
Lovely.
give me it's a pretty straightforward thing, but can you give me a dexterity check? You've basically got to, whilst holding the door closed, this thing is actively pushing at it. I don't think we're going to get into something about how the pressure suddenly stops and it's not its turn anymore. Whilst holding the door closed, you've got to fumble the keys from your belt.
D&D
And you're basically
physics.
going to, there's only a couple, so it's not going to be like, there's like 20 keys on there.
D&D physics is quantized in
18.
time.
You ace it. You can lock the door. Now what do you want to do?
Now I'm going to run as fast as my little legs will carry me.
Yeah, okay.
70
fine.
feet with my boots of speed.
Burple?
Well, Burple is... so this thing is doing what?
Well, it was trying to push the door open and get to Buggy, but Buggy's locked the door
And
and
I'm
has
now
run away.
so fast, I've actually ran past everybody
Shot past you,
under
yeah.
the sickly beam into the corridor and the antechamber.
So I'm moving...
You're running.
Actually, I'm going to run up to the door with the slot in it, and I'm going to look through the slots just to make sure there's nothing there.
The jailer's hole. You're going to look up. There's nothing there.
Yeah. By the way, I can still see through my clairvoyance. What's this thing
Yes.
doing?
So, well, you can't see anything. Would you say about 1.5 feet in? It's very dark.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe it's like really bright. I don't know. Anyway, it's inside this creature. Maybe you're looking at its spleen or something.
Nice.
Sandra on 18.
Sandra on 18.
Where's undead
Acknowledging the name.
sister gone?
I feel they put her in the bag of holding, didn't they?
Yeah, I think you did,
I
Buggy.
did. Yeah, nobody contradicted.
Let's just say, friend guy's storyteller, she's in the bag of holding. It's fine. She's in the bag of holding. Buggy's got the bag of holding. Burple's running for the exit. Parker's running for the exit. Sandra is...
Alessandra,
Yeah, for a moment there I thought you'd accepted your new...
not
We're just running away,
remotely.
guys.
Well,
Yep.
Oh, that's rich from Graham. That's
No, Graham, stay there
the
and hold
tone
the
of
fort.
disappointment in Graham's voice.
I'm not necessarily sure we're running away. We're just
Running.
I mean,
Fast.
I mean,
Running
away,
in a direct-
away. We're just running away from this thing, and
You're running towards somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're not running away from this. You're running
just
towards the
wondering
exit.
where
Running
we're running
towards-
towards so I can
no,
get
but
there
it's like
first.
running away and running away.
Out.
Run away.
It's like
Plan
going
B,
out
take-
and going out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Uh,
Sandra, come on.
Alessandra,
Oh, pulling teeth.
just waiting for other people to stop talking. Alessandra's going to run. And
Okay.
She can run straight through. Because she's got her mobile feet, so she can run
A mobile phone.
80. And she might actually also do the bonus dash action to take her another 40 as well, which is what she
Can you shut the door?
Oh, Spurs won, by the way, Bonds.
Did they? Who were they playing?
Burnley.
I'm very tempted.
Take
whatever
little
you can
helps.
What was the competition?
Yeah,
I'm so not
The
engaged.
what's it thingy. The what's it.
Cool.
You know,
the
that
Okie
one.
Kokie Cup.
The
Yeah,
door, shut it
cup.
on your way out.
Yeah, the Karamak.
Interact with an
whatever it's
object.
called.
What I could do, because Alessandra remembers how well everybody treated her with the doppelgangers.
Depending on when this comes out, Bonds. Yeah, and how well we do. This is the quarterfinals. We might just be about to lose the final of this cup. Probably to the Gooners.
Well,
Graham, you
City
can
are
start
out.
sounding smug as soon as you like. Alessandra's out. Sessions.
Hang on, Alessandra, are you going to close the door on your way
Well, I
out?
thought what I could do in memory of the doppelgangers, I could close the double doors at the end, leaving everybody inside.
Yeah, do that because I'm already.
No,
out.
I'm going to I'm going to close the door into what was Hooves' room
Right, so you're
as I run.
incrementally closing doors behind you. Are we going to play this through? Parker, you're running, right? Sessions.
Oh, well, I was just going to invite Parker to bug out with me.
Okay,
Shall
Dimension
we,
Dooring, where are you heading to?
Where shall we go?
Somewhere you know, and somewhere that you think is within 500
500
feet.
Well, I'll go with you.
I know
Wherever
somewhere
you,
that's definitely within 500 feet, which is the
uh,
top of the stairs down to the scenery, because you did that before.
Ah, okay.
Well, let's go there then. Don't mind if I do.
Sessions and Parker vanish. Buggy,
I'm just
Burple,
running.
Sandra. Let's not worry about round sequence so much. Where are you going? What are you doing?
So Parker and Sessions are bugged out, right?
Yeah.
Should I take
I
offence to
came
this
and asked you before you ran
terminology?
away, Burp, or whether we were bugging out.
No, I'm just doing what you did. No, I'm just thinking that I can do the same thing,
Exactly, yeah.
leaving one person behind, which would be Buggy.
I can move 140
Leaving him
feet
alone.
around.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm bugging out with Sandra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buggy, which way do you go in your 140 foot around escape? You've got two choices. You've got back up through the wine cellar, into the main understructure and through all the corridors, or down the pit and then through the sewers.
I'll go down the pit through the sewers. I can jump down the well in one spring with my boots of jumping.
Okay,
Is that the wrong answer?
that, Buggy, was the right answer.
What's wrong with the other way?
Maybe both answers were right answers. And you head back to the scenery to find the others looking smug, sitting around a table, drinking mead.
Making jokes about what took you.
Procyon and Sirius are hammered and singing songs in the corner, and the other teams that are still in there, the Gravediggers, they don't show their faces yet. I mean, it's really just Filch, and he stays in his little chamber.
How do we summon Garth Southportal so we can give him his sister?
Well, there's
The lady
Ariel
in the kitchen.
Cheeseman is your contact in the kitchen staff. She went
Yeah.
ran a message out for you before. The Anvil of Thumper they're drinking with Pitchblade, Procyon and Sirius. The Newell Mountain Massacre, Frankum, doesn't really socialise. Mern Stankbarrel, the spherical floating wizard who runs the golems, doesn't socialise. And the golems themselves, somebody must lock them away somewhere. They weren't ever brought down to the scenery, so you don't know what happened to them, right? Dice and Desire are also now taking bookings through Apeshit Mage. They're much better company. They're hanging out. The Lost and the Damned don't interact with other people. The Harrowing Horde, the farmers, they're kind of hanging around. They kind of keep themselves to themselves, but they can drink with the best of them. And then there's you guys. That's the situation in the scenery when you get back.
So it's Procyon and Sirius. So is there actually the constellation of Canis?
They're both
Because
white
they're-
dwarfs, Lucas.
Oh God! Don't.
This thing
please.
doesn't just fall together, Lucas.
Don't.
Very good. I
Why
like.
did you ask that question?
And
Why did you
Well,
set
it's
it up like that, Mike? You're just feeding him.
I set it up like that because I was looking for names for these two, and it seemed to make sense. I thought that Lucas would spot it, and he did. So, everything just...
it's just interesting because
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen. Pitiful band.
Okay, get a note out via this kitchen person.
Well,
Kitchen person.
I'll
This kitchen-
unpack her from the
Summon a
bag of
kitchen
holding.
person.
you're finding
Ariel.
Cheeseman. She speaks in the same stilted way that she spoke before. She seems a bit nervous, but you did handsomely reward her, I think, with 10 gold pieces for the last message. So she is more than happy to earn another 10 and take a note out to Eligos's house, which is your only... You don't know where Garth Southportal lives.
Could she take the woman rather than the note?
Well, the woman is in the bag of holding. Are you producing an
Yes, I'll
undead,
unpack her from the bag of
a
holding.
mind-burned, bald cadaver girl
No.
in the scenery?
No. We're sending a note.
No, we'll wait till we get out to
Just
the
no.
Would be
arena.
out of
and we
place.
Okay. While you are doing this, Sessions, you're at your table. There's carousing going on around you. General bonhomie. The rivalries have been forgotten in it's the night before the quarterfinals, is it? Yeah, quarterfinals. You hear a kind of behind you, when you turn to see what the noise is, it's one of the Harrowing Horde. Harrowing Horde are the farmers who fight with pitchforks and hoes and seed drills. Yesterday, of course, you know that they beat the Chromatics. Mm-hmm. You don't know which of the Harrowing Horde it is. He's got he's wearing a smock. He's got a piece of corn sticking out the corner of his mouth. He's got one of those hats. Yeah. He's got a sharpened seed drill. He says, "Hello there."
Ooh. All right.
He says, Are you Sessions Eater? Is that your name?
Aye.
They wrote Bert Fry out of the Archers today, if you want to place the...
Oh, spoiler alert! What was that? Because of the thing with the barn, anyway, whatever.
No. How far behind are you on the Archers?
Well, I listened to last Sunday. I listened to the Ombudsman.
God, you're an
not the Ombudsman.
the Ombudsman.
And he tells me whether they're illegal
I listen to the Archer's Ombudsman. He just goes, and we have found in favour of you in this instance. Sorry. Anyway, so this is falling apart. So he goes, "Oh, Sessions, my name is Biddy Bod. My name is Biddy Bod Buddy Boo," he says.
Biddy Bod
And
Buddy
Boo.
That's hard to say when you've had
My
a lot
name
of
is
cider,
Biddy
isn't
Bod
it?
Buddy Boo, and I am one of the Harrowing Horde. And I have a message for you, Sessions, from somebody you know from the outside world, somebody called Hillary, one of the lizard folk. Now, they came to see me, they did. And they had a message for the young Sessions. They asked me to warn you that now this will make more sense to you than it does to me, because it's all beyond me. All I understand is cows, sheep, pigs, and grain.
Right.
Hillary said something about I think she mentioned like a dragon, something called Ilthane.
Oh, aye.
had been in the Mist Marsh. Odd goings on, Hillary said, in the Mist Marsh. Oh yes.
What?
And that
Come
Ilthane,
back.
a dragon, had been there and had wrought terrible destruction
It was the black dragon, yeah?
on their home.
Ooh,
And had been asking questions. She left many dead, but she'd been asking questions about meddlers who'd interfered with her plans. That's what Hillary said to me. And I'm veering very strongly between Norfolk and the West Country. Every alternate sentence.
Get off my
There we
land.
are. Get off my land. Hey?
Hey.
Hey,
She doesn't.
Silly old fool, what are you trying to say?
Hillary doesn't know whether or not anybody gave her any information, but that's it. Also, Hillary told me there's a small group of shifty individuals, weird little people in robes and stuff, and they were in the marsh with Ilthane, and they'd been asking questions at Blackwall Keep, they said, and in the marsh, they said, and they were prodding about in the marsh. Hillary said, and that's the message.
Thank you.
thanks very much.
Me hearties.
Me hearty.
Yeah,
Is
that
there-
is
is there a
in the
pirate?
soil. And
Pirate
Oscar goes to.
Is this a pirate farmer? Me hearty.
They do say,
In the marsh.
on a dark and stormy night,
In the Mist Marsh. There be treasure. Green Billy's treasure. I had a touch of the Green Billy once, but it cleared
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are we
What are
doing?
you doing?
Just wait.
We've hit
All
the
gonna
Johnny.
be cut out.
We've hit what I think of as the Johnny. Well, I don't know what a Johnny timer is. That sounds awful. We've hit the Johnny limit, which is like he's prepared to go through so long without hitting something, right? Without it being a fight, yeah. Or rolling for magic, finding a magic item, and that's it. So he's prepared to allow it to run. I can let this run through, and then at a certain point, he's like, right, what's going on now?
Yeah, exactly.
Stop being silly.
Stop being
Right.
silly.
What are we
no
doing?
more enjoyment. Anyway, there we are. That's what you learned,
Right.
Sessions, from I've forgotten his name already. But bibbidi bib bobbidi bab bib bab bibbidi bob. Well, that's what you learn. Anyway, there we go. Fantastic
Excellent. That
bit.
was useful info.
And people say that this show doesn't have decent roleplay. I would say
They're
Yeah.
right.
I think that's harsh.
that's what I hear. Yeah,
I'd say they're right.
yeah. I mean, all 4 of them.
So what was that thing, that squiggly monster, do we think?
Should have stayed and fought it, and then you would have found out.
Well, I think the thing is that you being very low on spells, I'm completely fine. But
Well, you should have stayed then.
I think everybody else decided to absolutely hoof it.
You're just all chicken. That's the problem.
You ran.
I ran after everybody else ran. I was quite happy staying there,
I think we can go back and do it.
Yeah.
Let's ditch the sister first. Let's complete that part of the mission, and then we can go.
Well,
back
we
down.
have a small matter of a quarter-final to worry about.
I'm wondering whether we need to actually go to that part of the dungeon again at all. Is it required?
Does it? Is it require?
Is it required?
Does it? Is it require?
Is it required?
Does it? Is it require?
Does it require?
I think if we lose the quarter-final,
Yeah.
then we're not really going to be able to go back down very easily without starting a total fight.
Well, we've got that passageway, haven't we? I think that passageway is the plan B,
Yeah.
probably written in for if the party manages to fuck it up so badly
We
that
don't
they
actually know where it goes.
We don't, but it looks like it's a let's go outside passage.
Let's go outside passage.
Let's go outside passage.
Right, so where were we? Because I have no idea what we are doing.
What we're doing is we've sent a message to Garth via her.
You don't
via
know
Eligos.
when you're likely to get an answer back. It's 10
No.
o'clock at night.
No, we've got a decision, which is: do we go back down and try and fight this monster, or do we effectively call it a night? And
I think we effectively call it a night.
You've got some resource management questions here, right? Like you've got one long rest between now and your fight tomorrow at 8 p.m.
I think we want to be fully rested for the fight.
so
Can you tell me, sorry, the message that you sent to, sorry to be rewindy,
yeah,
the message that you sent to Eligos, what does the message say?
the message will say that
We have Garth's sister.
we tell Garth we've got news of interest for him.
We found his sister, or
We
what's
found his
left of
sister.
her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want when you've been waiting for news.
Yeah.
We've found your sister.
Yeah.
Be prepared for
Fine.
a shock.
Okay, but the general idea is, Garth, you send a message to Eligos saying, can you tell Garth Southportal that we have found his sister and he should get down here as soon as possible?
Before she
Yeah, and
crumbles.
she's only kind of dead.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah.
He might want to bring some handkerchiefs with him
Yeah.
and a mop and bucket.
Have you seen 28 Days Later? Fine, that message is gone. You're going to rest up over... Hello, Lucas, you're going to rest up overnight?
I think we'll let her out of the bag while we're in our
Well, you've got your
quarters.
cabin. Yeah?
Yeah, we'll get upstairs.
She just stands there. She's completely rudderless.
Well, we'll tell her to
but
sit.
she doesn't
and,
run off.
you
She
know.
doesn't. But she just looks like she just sits at the corner of the bed, staring at the wall.
Yeah.
I feel we should also mention to Garth's South Portal in the message that, I don't know, what can we say to sort of slightly prepare him for the shock?
We've had that. We've
without-
had that discussion.
We've done that.
We've-
She's-
And I think we should be clear, Lucas,
Sorry.
that there are very sensitive ways that you could do that. Yeah. And Dan and Paul avoided all of those ways.
Okay.
They
I go away
rather-
for 5 minutes.
I'm going to hollow out the head.
Oh yes, you cut Hooves' head is in
So
there.
I'm
Oh, that
hollowing
must have
it
been,
out and
that must have
stuffing
been
it with
nice for the
straw
hacker,
or
by the way,
something.
in that time she spent in the bag of holding. Lovely.
I'm hollowing it out, stuffing it
Well,
with
it's
straw, and
dark in there.
sticking it on another pole that goes on the
Yes.
back.
What's the rod
Right,
do,
so
Mike?
also on the back of your armour. So you've got two heads
Yes.
sticking up.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean we're going to hand wave the aerodynamics,
Graham is right.
What?
The rod. We can find out what the rod does.
Yeah,
you
what does the
can.
rod do?
It's a Rod of the Pack Keeper, +1.
What?
It's a warlock item, isn't it?
It's a warlock item that allows you an extra spell slot once per short rest.
Okay.
The breastplate is a +1 breastplate, the breastplate that you've all forgotten.
I've already got one of those.
And the hammer, well, you think you know what the hammer is, but you're kind of okay. It's a +2 unholy warhammer, which is about as nasty as you would imagine. You're not sure whether or not it actually has a value and has a rarity. Should one of you be foolish enough to try and use it or own it, a rarity that would translate into magic dice, but it doesn't really have a market value simply because it really is only effective when wielded by something that is fiendish, as in literally a fiend, yes, or touched by fiendishness, as was hooves, or an Oathbreaker paladin. In the hands of one of those creatures, it does extra amounts of necrotic damage, especially to good aligned creatures. Otherwise, it's just a great big hammer. I mean, it's, perfectly tasty. You don't know how long you would be able to kind of have it around you and keep using it without it maybe slightly, changing your point of view on things. I don't know how to put it gently.
Yeah.
You think it's pretty rare. I mean, you think it's really a pretty rare item. It must have a value. It's just a question of finding somebody you want to sell it to, and somebody that you want to sell it to might be somebody that you probably only would want to talk to when they were inside the sharp end of a pentagram. My point.
What about the dust?
The dust is dust of disappearance. 1 dose.
Is it?
It's quite good dust of disappearance. I mean, you still become visible when you attack or cast a spell, but it does, I think it invisibles a whole bunch of people at once.
That might be good for our combat.
Well, it might be, yeah.
With these 2 dwarves.
Found in a small packet, this powder resembles very fine sand. There is enough of it for 1 use. When you use an action to throw the dust into the air, you and each creature and object within 10 feet of you become invisible for 2d4 minutes. The duration is the same for all subjects, and the dust is consumed when its magic takes effect. Creature affected by the dust attacks or casts a spell, the invisibility ends for that creature.
There you go.
To be honest, I can do invisibility. I already have a +1 breastplate. I don't want to use the Warhammer, so I'm kind of interested in the Greater Restoration scroll.
Should we take it offline up between sessions?
Let's do that. Mike, I would suggest that we can handwave the rest of it and get to the start of the next fight.
Well, the only thing that
Garth South Portal
does turn up in the morning.
Question, is the breastplate any good for anyone?
I've already got a +1 breastplate.
It might be for me.
Certainly not. It might be for me as well.
I just think that if it's good for I'm not interested in anything apart from the scroll and the potion. Why don't we take the magic allocation offline? I'm happy for Graham to have the breastplate.
Yeah, let's do that.
We hang around in the scenery, basically.
Tomorrow, I mean, the first bout is at 11 a.m. Just before that, Talabir comes down into the scenery. He's accompanied by Okaral, who is Rachnian, the master of games, Rachnian's head of security, who looks at you lot quite fixedly, while Talabir kind of just does his standard beginning of the day. We should be fighting 4 bouts today. The crowd is excited and expecting entertainment. The first fight is going to be between...
Do they notice Hoof's head on this?
That's a good...
So Johnny looks back at Okaral with this thing, with his head on.
Okaral sees the head of Hooves. Yeah. Actually attached to Uncle Buggie's armour. His eyes do widen perceptibly. And he looks like, he looks around himself a little bit like, I haven't got anybody to tell about what I've just seen, but as soon as I can, I will, kind of thing. Yeah? That's a bit brazen. I like that very much. But Talabir does his thing. First bout is going to be Dyson Desire, Casino and Pleasure House, now taking bookings through Apeshit and Mage. And the Gravediggers. They are marshalled to the point where they can kind of ascend the stairs up to the elevator and all of that. And Garth kind of wanders in behind this party. So while all the ceremonial is being done and the marshalling and organisation. Hi, he says. Hi, everybody. Got your message. Have you you got news? You've got something about...
Yes, your sister is in the chamber over there.
It didn't sound great. Is it cool with you guys if I,
Yeah, no, we'll give you some space and some privacy.
Okay, so he wanders over the little bridge. Yeah, he wanders over the little bridge as the other competitors are gathered around. Talabir and Okaral start leading the other competitors up towards the arena. Garth goes over the little bridge. You see him sort of shuffling across the scenery, opens the little cabin door, goes in, then you just hear, "Oh no!" And the door bursts open and he kind of frantically looks around and looks at you and he's like, she's and Lahaka sort of appears in the doorway. She's
yes,
and just turns to him and goes, "Hi, who are you? I don't think I know you." And he is just like, inconsolable, and ushers her quickly inside before anybody else can notice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the day passes pretty much as you would expect. The victors in the first bout, it's time to say goodbye, everybody, to Dyson Desire Pleasure House, now taking bookings for April. I know, I'm sorry. Nate, if you're listening at some point in the far future, I'm sorry. The Grave Diggers were victorious in that bout. Filge comes victoriously back down to the Cenobie. At 2 p.m, it's the Anvil of Thump. Fighting the Lost and the Damned, to the little group in cloaks and shadow and darkness and tentacles. The winners of that bout, the Anvil of Thump. They return clanking down the stairs in their giant suits of armour. The helmets of the armour open like the open tank turrets of a victorious D-Day force, with the little gnomes cheering and so forth. At 5 p.m, it's the Newell Mountain Massacre against the Harrowing Horde, including Bib. It won't surprise you to learn, having encountered one of the Harrowing Horde, that it is the Newell Mountain Massacre who return victorious from their bout. Clock winds forward, and before you know it, it is 8 p.m. You obviously have now completed your 8-hour long rest.
Can we push the button?
You can push the button.
Oh, push the button. Important button.
Oh, yes.
Talabir arrives. And now, competitors, Pitchblade, Procyon and Sirius.
We're going to chop you up into little slices.
Procyon briefly stops banging his head against the table. They both guzzle down a huge wooden tankard of mead each. They already look a little bit like 4 sheets to the wind. Never know, might be an advantage. They're kind of full of derry-do and bonhomie. They're very friendly, but it's all slightly ironic with them. Mm-hmm. And the Flyer Slayers. I see your captain. Uncle Buggie Dange. You've a new armor adornment. Very impressive. Come. Let's go upstairs and give some entertainment to the crowd. And you and Ockerel and the stewards and whatever, you're marched up together up the stairs, around the understructure, into the elevator. You've got a chance to kind of intermingle and commingle and chat as you do so.
Well, I want to have a conversation with one of these guys. I'll pull him aside.
What? One of Pitchblade, Procyon or Sirius?
Yes, one of them. Can I tell them apart? Does it matter?
Yeah, you can. Procyon is one that keeps banging his head against things.
Okay.
Sirius seems to be a bit more serious.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Procyon.
You talk to Procyon. Okay. Yeah.
Fine. And just quietly have a little word for him. How long can I grab a minute?
Yeah, you can easily grab a minute as you're being ushered up the staircase and as you're being taken through. You've got plenty of time to chat to him.
Okay.
So and I will, while we're on our way up, I will do aid. 10 hit points on Parker, Buggy,
thank you.
And Purple.
Excellent.
Thanks,
and I'm going to
10 hit
do.
Points.
So Mikey needs to make a Wisdom save DC 14.
I'm just going to roll it in secret.
If he fails, he's frightened of me.
Okay.
And I'm going to do. Actually, can I do Fairy Fire on them? No.
You're not allowed to immediate disqualification if you start, breaking out the actual offensive spells on the elevator.
Yeah.
It's regarded as extremely bad form. Talking of bad form, can somebody give me a perception check? Let's do what's called a group check. That is, all of you roll a perception check, and if more than 50% of you, 50% of more of you succeed, one of you succeeds.
20
What's the DC?
total.
Perceptione.
20
So
total.
I'll get 17.
Yeah, okay, so you've done it. First of all, Procyon and Sirius, the closer you get to the elevator, the closer you get to the real thing, the less drunk they seem. Their eyes meet, and there's lots of checking of gear.
Does Procyon look wary of me?
Give me a perception check. No, an insight check. Give me an insight check.
Oh, an
Sorry.
insight check. Okay. Better. You sure not perception? 8.
You can't tell. Ockeral, as you get onto the elevator, you notice he passes each of them something.
Oh.
So what was that you just passed them, Ockeral?
He looks at you like you're. He doesn't. Talabir steps in between him and you. The competitors may not speak to the officials during the ascendance of the elevator.
He just handed something to those to our opponents. I want to know what it is.
That is not illegal under the rules of the competition. Now let us go upstairs and entertain the crowd. I'm not getting his voice right, am I? Anyway, I'm
No,
going to
you're
drop that in.
doing it quite well.
As the elevator ascends, the crowd noise builds. Procyon and Sirius become really serious. They start priming themselves. Each of them breaks out a little flask. They just neck back one, and then another, and then another.
Yeah.
By the time the elevator hits the floor of the arena, to a roar from the crowd all around you, there's lights already. You've not been up here at night. They've sunk 3 or 4 potions each.
So what's it going to be? It's going to be stone skin.
As the elevator clunks level with the floor of the arena, Talabir is talking again. Uncle Nudlund Banj, Captain of the Flare Slayers, and Procyon, the Captain of Pitchblade.
Uncle Buggie and the
Uncle Buggie.
Get it wrong again and I'll chop your head off.
I will now toss the coin of fate. Who is going to call the toss? And Procyon just nods at you, Buggy, and says,
He can call the coin.
and Talabir turns to you, Buggy, and he says, what do you choose? Snakes or do you choose ladders?
Look at Sessions.
You look at
You're the
Sessions.
captain.
Yeah, well, am I going to be
1, 3
advised by
snakes.
the
We choose ladders.
ladders, I say?
It is. The coin glints in the air as it's flicked. Ladders! Yay!
Not that it makes any
And
difference.
Talabir turns to the crowd and they kind of roar, please choose your ground. Would you choose the blue circle or the red circle?
The one we were on last time, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the blue side.
Blue circle.
The blue circle! Please take your positions! And Procyon and Sirius tramp to the southern point of the arena, stand inside the red circle. Now at night, of course, the runes that these circles are traced out in are illuminated ever brighter. Yeah, in fact, they illuminate you. It's like you're standing in a little ring of lights. Talabir works his way across the arena, ascends the little side steps up to the throne. Rachnian is leaning forward in the throne. Can Alessandra give me an intelligence check? Sorry, a perception check.
A perception check. Getting a 16.
You think you see Alessandra just in the shadows behind the throne. Somebody, 2 people you recognise. Cuthbert and Severiana Outsplinter are obviously favoured guests in the royal box. By now, the time you spot that, Talabir is standing at the front of the throne dais.
Granny.
He raises his hand high in the air. The trumpets blow the fanfare to start the bout. Talabir says, and let the fight begin! And we will pick things up next.
Wait, Granny!
Of course, we haven't had any discussions about what tactics we're going to use.
You never do, you never do, you never
No,
do.
precisely.
But now that's another
We're
thing you
just
can take
all gonna
offline.
basically
Yeah,
back
but
on it.
miraculously, by next week, somehow you will have agreed an amazing plan.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Champion's Belt and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Champion's Belt was written by Tito Lietti. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening!